All right, let's talk about STIX. It's the standard that's really changing the game for how security pros share and, more importantly, act on threat intelligence. So, if you've ever felt like you're just drowning in threat data, you're gonna want to hear this.
So let me just ask you this, especially for all of you in the SOC, all you threat hunters out there. Is your threat intel feed actually helping you? Or does it just feel like a fire hose of data that's just creating more work, more noise, and honestly, more headaches? You know this scene, right? This is the daily chaos for so many of us. You get a critical piece of intel from a PDF, another clue from a blog post, and maybe a third from an email alert. Every single one speaks a different language, uses a different format. So you're stuck manually copying and pasting IP addresses, trying to connect a hash from one report to a domain in another. It's just so slow. It's begging for human error, and it buries that one critical signal you need in a giant mountain of noise.
So here's our game plan to get from that chaos to some real clarity. We're going to start with the core problem, introduce STIX as the solution, break down its building blocks, see how it all connects, and then we'll see how it really powers a modern security operations center.
Okay, Section 1, the threat intelligence problem. The whole point here is figuring out how we move from just being buried in information to actually having insights we can do something with.
This is what I call the Tower of Babel problem in cybersecurity. You've got your threat intel platform, your CM, your security information and event management system, your EDR tools. They all have incredibly valuable stuff to say, but they can't talk to each other. So your team, you, become the human translator, spending hours just trying to get all your systems on the same page. So, how do we fix this? How do we tear down that tower? Well, that brings us right to Section 2, STIX. It's the common language, the universal standard, designed to solve this exact problem. So what is STIX, really? Well, the official definition calls it a standardized, machine-readable language. And trust me, those two phrases are everything. Standardized means we all agree on what things are called and how they're structured. And machine-readable, that's the magic wand. That means we can finally get people out of the tedious translation business and let our tools do the heavy lifting. The best way to think about it is like this. STIX is literally the Rosetta Stone for threat intelligence. It takes all these different dialects from different reports and tools and translates them into one single language that every tool and every person can understand instantly. No more guesswork. Okay, so how does this language actually work? Let's get into the nuts and bolts in Section 3, the building blocks of STIX. It really just comes down to two simple ideas: objects and relationships. Let's think back to grade school grammar. On one side, you have the nouns of an attack. In STIX, we call these STIX domain objects, or SDOs. These are the things: the threat actor, the piece of malware, the server they used. Then, on the other side, you have the verbs. These are the STIX relationship objects, or SROs. These describe the action, and they are the absolute key. They're how we build context, because they show how all those nouns are connected. And here are some of the most common nouns you're going to see all the time. You've got the threat actor, the who, the malware they used, the tool, which could be something legit like PowerShell, the vulnerability they went after, and, most importantly for a SOC, the indicator. That's the pattern that lets you actually find this stuff on your network. And the verbs. This is what turns a boring list into a story. A threat actor uses malware. That malware targets a vulnerability. An indicator indicates that malware is present. See? These simple little links are what create the rich, contextual story of an attack. All right, theory's great, but let's put it all together. In Section 4, we're going to connect the dots and actually visualize an attack campaign using these nouns and verbs. This is where you really see the power. We start with a noun, the threat actor dragonfly. We add a verb, uses, to connect it to our next noun, the malware poison ivy. That malware then targets another noun, an identity, Acme Energy Corp. And just like that, you're not looking at random data points anymore. You're seeing the whole attack graph, the full story, all linked together in a way a person and a machine can understand. Now, for anyone in a SOC or doing threat hunting, this indicator object, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's not just a piece of data, it's a pattern. It's the explicit, actionable, how to find it guide for all of your security tools, whether that's your SIM or your EDR platform. And it does this using something called STIX patterning.
Now, this example might look like code, but it's an incredibly powerful, unambiguous instruction. It says, hey, security tool, go find me any file where the SHA-256 hash is exactly this value. It's not a fuzzy description from a blog post. It's a direct command your tools can execute right now.
Which brings us to our final and, I think, most important section, powering the modern SOC. This is the payoff. Why does any of this matter to your job, like tomorrow morning? I mean, this table says it all. The transformation is huge. Before STIX, alert triage is a person reading a PDF, manually copying and pasting IOCs. After STIX, your SIM just ingests the data. Done. Before, you're pivoting between 5 different screens trying to connect the dots. After, you see the entire attack graph instantly. And for threat hunting, forget writing 5 custom queries for 5 different tools. You write one STIX pattern and run it everywhere. At the end of the day, this is what STIX really gives your team. You enable real automation, letting machines do the tedious stuff. You provide the rich, structured fuel that those SOAR, security orchestration, automation, and response, platforms need to actually work. You can supercharge your threat hunts. And you can finally share intelligence with your partners that has all the context, the who, what, why, and how, not just a flat list of IPs. And hey, don't just take it from me. This comes straight from the horse's mouth, the official STIX spec. It says STIX is designed to improve collaborative threat analysis, automated threat exchange, automated detection and response, and more. It was literally built to solve the problems that modern security teams are dealing with every single day. So I'll just leave you with this one question to take back to your team. Take a hard look at your tools, your feeds, your entire workflow. Is your security stack speaking STIX? And if it's not, just think about how much time and energy you could save if everyone started speaking the same language.